Advertise the whole world that flash.
Hey, I know you're feeling. I've gotten myself with those hormone shots and I'm taking for that
Yeah.
fucking shit.
I know, I'm trying to get rid
bothersome
of
to
everything
me.
else that way.
If that's all that is. Or maybe I'm not as severe.
You're not experiencing it quite as much.
Nope.
On that note, it is
Okay.
5:30. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I do want to say we have some,
Interesting.
yep. I'll rise for the pledge first.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all. Okay.
So there are 3 items on the agenda that I'm really hoping that we can move through quite quickly. I know Jean has some time constraints. I have some time constraints. We had a few discussions on these topics. So I'm hoping that we can reach some sort of resolution to these items in the next 15, 20 minutes, if at all possible.
Nice.
I'd like to know if by a show of hands, we can all agree to kind of like self-limit our talk to a couple of minutes on each topic and allow us to move through. So are we all good with that? I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
Yep.
Good.
For sure.
Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through the items. Well, item number 4 and item number 5. I should probably start at number 3. And then based on what our discussion is, I think we can go ahead and make a combined motion by the end of the meeting. So we're going to start by talking about the appointment of the interim town manager. So what I'd like to do is just go around the room, get everybody's thoughts on that. Allow each one to speak through what they need to speak for a couple of minutes and move forward. So I'm going to start on my left and go clockwise. You're up.
All right. Thank you very much for the floor, Heather. Yep, I've had a good conversation, was understanding with Mike and everything, and understanding the importance of getting this interim quickly in order for us to follow through. So I am in agreement with a 30-day for starting, with having Mike act as our interim.
Okay,
You
Billy.
put that into a motion, I'll second it.
Well, let's go through and let everybody talk.
Okay, I was just gonna shorten it up a
Yeah.
little bit.
Let's let everybody talk about what our thoughts are and
Okay.
go forth from there. So Billy, you can speak
Well,
to what your
I
thoughts
spoke
are.
with Mike also, and he knows what my thoughts are. And my only 2 thoughts is that his overtime and his not being here. But I will move forward and okay him being the interim town manager.
Jean?
Well, I've been for Mike to do this all along, so I think that the most knowledgeable person that we have right now. And I definitely think that he's the guy that should be doing this.
Okay, the only thing that I would like to add to that is 30 days goes quick, really quick. Would we be open to 60 days? It's gonna take us probably, think about.
Yeah.
When we meet to talk about the job listings and stuff like that, we do so in meetings. So I would think that we want to go at least once every week.
Well, we're halfway, well, not halfway, but we're into April. So, and we've only got 2 meetings. I'll go 60.
60?
I agree
How
with you.
about to the first meeting in June?
Why don't we,
That would be pretty close to 60
let's
days.
go 60 days and then see what happens, because we don't know if we're going to have anybody,
And that's the
either.
other thing
So-
is I
Exactly.
do want us,
because we don't want to keep
we-
doing this. It's just like 60 days,
I would like to we'll
Right.
check in
That's right.
and renew until we can get it filled, because it's gonna take us some time, I think, to fill it. It's not instantaneous.
And we all know
Okay,
that.
my opinion with 60 days is gonna bring it right in between 2 meetings. So we need to either go with the first meeting in June or the last meeting of June.
Let me pull up my calendar here.
That way
So
it would be,
let's go. Should we revisit the final meeting in June?
yeah.
Make
and
sure
then-
we have it on the June 18th meeting.
That
And
would
then
be-
every
yeah,
meeting-
that way we know it's gonna be, we'll be there.
Can you open up the copier and grab me a piece of paper?
Just take an extra agenda there.
I'll flip the agenda around.
Oh,
Yes.
Wouldn't that be easier? That
So
way we wouldn't have to have
agenda-
anything special.
And then Then at the, after
18.
60 days, the second meeting of the month, we would renew it again. That way we're on meetings, not in between.
We reevaluate at the meetings. Okay, so at this moment, I'd like to suspend this conversation. Let's talk about the select board appointment. So we're gonna follow that same process. I'm gonna go around the room. I like clockwise. So Mike, what are your thoughts on select board appointments? Given that we've had, we did have the 3 people from the first meeting. And we did get another email from, and I lost my email here.
Yeah.
I believe his name was
Theo.
Theo.
Yeah, I don't know much about him. I do know that he was the one that bought Ricky Clark's house. So I'm not familiar with him. I don't know how you want to go about meeting with him. We don't want another meeting, of course. I don't believe anyone.
And they were kind of okay. I mean, I saw the email that they sent in. It was like, if it's too late, they were fine.
I did read that, Michael. So, all right. So my opinion is, and this, I'm going to try to go with everybody. I gave it quite a bit of thought and I'm sorry. And I've got it down there to 2. It'll be John and then, Bruce. And after I heard everything that I heard from John, his credentials seemed very impressive to me. I'm in that favor as I hear everybody else. If we need a finalization, but I'm kind of pushing that way, Heather.
Okay. Ew. What are your thoughts?
What?
We're going to Bill next. He's next.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't.
My thoughts is, I don't know John. I do know Bruce.
I
I
don't know
grew up
him
with
either.
Bruce. Okay, but John did sound like he has a lot of good credentials, more than anybody I know of for select board member. So I would be that route.
Jean?
I'm gonna go with Bruce because, well, Bruce comes to all of these meetings. He's on the water board and he goes to all the planning board meetings. So I think that he's very aware of what is going on in town. And I think that's very important, just having somebody come in just because they have credentials of, for whatever reason, what they have. I'd rather have somebody that knows what's going on in town than to have somebody that just decides to come on the board, who I don't think has ever even been to a meeting, except for the one that we were just at
4 years.
from last week.
My thought is, I think that John is highly qualified. Bruce has been to almost all the meetings that I've seen from the different things. I think he's got the knowledge. I do see value in John, and what in my belief is, I believe both would be a huge asset to the town. This is a 1-year appointment through, well, just short of a year. My thought is I'd like to see Bruce step in for the year, and I would like to invite John to please attend the meetings, become familiar. I know we have a position that like one of the seats comes up every year. I know for myself coming into the board, I attended meetings for a long time leading up to it, so I could gather that information. And that's kind of just like getting that historic, or getting the what's going on in town, I think is important. But that's my thoughts. Anyone have any other discussion on this?
Just a quick addition.
Mhm.
Just having somebody with that experience and not getting so much mixed up into where we sit right now. Maybe outsider like that with new ideas might be inviting and exciting to see where we sit, instead of, not that Bruce is a great man. I'm just looking at somebody with all that resume that he had. There might be some good potential there. and not having any favoritism towards anything that's going on here. So that's why I'd like to stick with that. And if anything else, if we're gonna get into a tight fit here and we're not sure, is it a possibility of a temp? I know that's a pain.
You
I don't
can't-
think that's
You
allowed. You
can't-
can't do that.
Yeah, it's kind of
That's
weird.
got it.
Your only other option.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Is you don't appoint somebody to the select board and then you have to call a special election.
Yeah.
60 to 90 days.
Which comes with
Oh, I know the timing is long and everything. Okay, so, well, all right, we gotta fix this. Okay, no temp. All right, that's basically had all I need to add to what I've got. I just think new ideas, somebody doesn't know the background, what's going on, sit at this table and say, this is what I got to offer, and then we can basically judge and kind of mold them in. But thank you.
Any other thoughts or discussion?
I just
Okay.
feel like, I think that Bruce has more experience with these meetings. And just the fact that, I don't know, he's very interested in all these meetings. So it's not like he's just coming in, he knows what's going on. And I think that's very important. I don't know this John guy, but I don't know. To me, to have somebody just all of a sudden decide that he wants to be on the select board, never been to a meeting, I don't know. That's my feeling. I just think that if this person had wanted to be more involved, would have at least showed up at a few meetings beforehand.
Based off that, are we okay with maybe tabling the select board appointment until a later meeting, or do we want to? Because I mean, we are still getting a couple of emails in. Kind of the options that we have tonight are to draw up a vote on one or the other. For the as far as the select board appointment. Or we could put that off to the next meeting, invite people, give us some more of an open opportunity to have a discussion with the candidates. And honestly, in an open meeting, I think it would be a good opportunity for our community members to also ask questions and kind of give us their insight as well as to what their thoughts and options are. If we're okay with that, and circling back and talking about making a motion on the town manager, if you guys are all okay with that, we can do that. If not,
I'll make a motion to table the select board until a further meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, so back to the interim town manager, based
I will
off
make,
the,
what? You want me to
Okay.
make the motion? I'll make a motion. We, Mike Straight become our interim town manager for 60 days with, I
date
guess.
of
the
that
days
meeting?
till the April,
June 18th.
18th.
June
Meeting.
18th, which we will review, I guess, and then if we haven't had anybody, then he would be still there.
You would have the option to renew.
Exactly.
Right,
Yeah, for another
thank
6.
you.
Right,
Right.
let me see if I can put that
Just put
together.
it-
Let's make
yeah,
this very
just put
clear.
it- Yeah,
We're getting a motion to appoint Mike Straight to the interim town manager until the June 18th meeting, whereupon the board will reevaluate based on the status of the permanent position for extension beyond that time period.
Is that a
That's right.
motion? Because I'll second it right
If
now.
somebody will make that motion,
I
Okay,
just
we
made
keep
that motion.
Okay.
Lynn made the motion, you
Now I'll second
seconded it. Can we vote on it? All in favor?
All right.
Okay, so that is moved. Okay, on to the next item on the agenda. It was brought to my attention this week that the rail depot heating system is no longer at a limp point. It is at a critical point. There are things going on that are putting situations that we should not be in. And we need to make the decision to either replace it immediately or take other actions. We did look a few years ago, and I want to say it was 4 years ago,
Yes.
and we started a reserve account for the
Heating system.
boiler in the depot, and we have about $15,000 and some other weird numbers in there. And we did do the 3 estimates at that time. We had one company come in significantly lower. We've reached out to everybody to get reappraise our estimates on it. We have one that can put it in next week. Did we hear back from the other ones? But as this is an emergency situation,
It's a
I
very
think we
big
need to look at it.
And you're not.
We're not bound to the
bids.
3 bids.
3-bid thing is, this is no different than if the sewer line fails in the road. You don't have to get 3 bids to fix the.
In the meantime, we have taken, so we have an estimate of $29,071 to replace both boilers. I know we were trying to hold off for the MERP. MERP funds will not go away. We can use those for other related items and use the reserve fund as well as other funds that we can come up with to make this. And then in the meantime, the actions that we've taken include turning the boiler off during the daytime when the building is occupied to minimize exposure. We've removed the we are removing the storm windows over the weekend to allow for better ventilation. But if we are okay with it, I would, if anybody has any discussion regarding this, any questions?
Let's move forward. That's an emergency.
I will take a motion from somebody to proceed having Tardif Plumbing, Heating and Mechanical proceed with the boiler replacement in the rail depot at the estimate of $29,071.
I'll make that motion, what you just said.
I'll
Anybody want
second.
to second it?
Second.
Yeah,
it.
second.
We got
Thanks for-
seconds.
Thanks for putting that
Yeah,
out
we're
there.
good.
All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now, I failed to go to the updated agenda. Did anybody have anything to update?
Yes.
Okay,
No.
fire away, Bill.
Heather, I'm very impressed with the way you're running the meetings. And I would like to be able to nominate you for a full-time Brighton
Chairperson.
Select Chair.
And I would second that.
Can we reevaluate when we get our 5th member?
I thought we were gonna have one.
I appreciate that greatly.
But you'd be next meeting's gonna be our last anyways.
You're
I-
stuck.
You're stuck.
So
Unless you just renege from it.
I have, wow, I was not expecting that.
I like the way.
So
you
I
run
guess
the
we need to, vote on that.
Yeah, just have a motion.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
meeting. I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so on that note,
Chairperson.
I know that we all know I am working, and right now it's a little bit chaotic with the fact that I work in imports. If there is somebody who would like to be a
Assistant.
second chair, in the event that I can't be here,
I can help you out there.
okay, I will make a motion for Bill to be a chair if I'm unable to make a meeting or something.
They can just
No?
pick that.
Okay.
They'll just pick
You don't
that.
have to do that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
If
that's.
you can't make a meeting, then somebody else just.
Okay.
I am really truly hopeful that I don't.
I'll just help you out. if
I
I
hope
can.
you don't. You do, you handle.
You're
it
doing a
well,
very
you handle
good
it
job.
well. I think it's awesome, so.
I thank you guys, and I do know there are some public people here, and this does not have public comment on it, so I'm gonna open up to any public comment that you guys have.
I think it's the best thing to do, make you chair.
Yeah. There you-
One of the things you guys.
Thank you,
might wanna
Trish.
look-
You're welcome.
One of the things you guys might want to consider is having it alternate. Just the 3-year positions, like
Yeah,
whatever your term is,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
following year is Mike, the next year is Billy.
Usually, so
Like a rotation, so you don't have.
But that
to
doesn't, well, that's,
Time-
yeah, I hear what you're saying.
It's not gonna-
what you do,
Excuse me?
each time when a new board is formed, so after each election, that whole process starts all over again,
Yeah.
and they have to elect a chair based on the people that are on the board. So that does happen every year. So
Well, if you implemented a 3-year thing where it was rotating,
but we have different,
But not necessarily the person who gets.
right,
the seat
I might not be here after my next.
Right,
You know
after.
what I mean, so next year when.
I might be
up
voting.
next year, I don't know.
Jean's up next
Jean's up
year.
next year.
Yeah.
So Jean's up, she doesn't run for election, but it's her turn to be chair. Somebody gets elected to that seat and they're like, okay, well, you're chair this year. And they're like, I don't.
I
wanna
don't
be
think
chair
so.
this year.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You
right,
just kick it over.
yeah, take it to the next.
I mean, I just,
I
It
can
can
I,
be like 1 year,
Usually-
2 year, and the new person who came in, the third year would do it.
yeah, usually a lot of towns
I'm
go
just
where.
throwing it out there. I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, that's something, we can talk about that.
Usually it does rotate, like usually the most
Every year.
senior person typically does it if they're willing to. Sometimes they rotate it around. I will,
I mean,
You guys
look,
did it.
You guys are funny with the way you're doing it now.
I
I
can
think
only
we're-
talk to what's gonna happen until
Yeah.
March of next year.
Yeah.
We'll have a new
Let's-
board then
let's-
and
yeah,
maybe it'll be a
let's-
new chair.
Let's worry about it next year. How's that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, let's worry, yeah, when that comes,
Yeah,
we'll
we-
get to that.
I'm not gonna
I
dictate.
think we
what
got
people
bigger
do in the
issues
future.
than that.
So, any other things? First of all, I do want to say, Mike, we're gonna work on some things. Top lists, we're probably all gonna be sending you even more stuff than you do. I want to say that I believe we all know that the top priorities, obviously, Rail Depot. Get that done. Please get that done
We don't want
now.
nobody dead over there. that's for sure.
And we'll come up with a list of top tasks as a group together. You know what you're doing, and let's go ahead and move
I will
forward.
let you know, I did talk with Kurt just this afternoon. I was trying to get him into a CDL course. But it's not gonna be until July now. Because there's a requirement that they have to attend this, can't even think what the name of it is now. Orientation class they have to take, which the deadline for that was back in March. And I called and I talked to the CDL instructor. He'd have to be there tomorrow and he's not up here. He's still in Massachusetts. He won't be here until the 12th.
Is he hired yet?
Yes,
He
yes.
is. Well, I mean, we don't have a lot of plowing. You can still run the 1 ton, right? You don't need
Right, right.
CDL, you don't need a CDL for the loader or the
Right.
backhoe.
And he knows how to run that. but
Yeah,
he
that's-
just doesn't have a
And
CDL.
you don't need to
And it
see
gives
the
us time,
operator.
you'll get time to get his CDL. That should
Right.
work.
So,
Yeah.
I just want to give you guys an update on that. I've been working on that with Nick and
So then we're full.
We are fully
Yeah, we-
staffed except for our permanent town manager, which
Right.
we will all
Work on that.
work
Work on
on. If you guys do get your edits, feel free to,
I will get it to you
Zap
by
'em.
Monday night.
you can even zap them to Mike. We'll get it. I mean, like,
Okay, Heather, I gotta go.
I was saying,
So,
other than
Either
that, if
I'm
there's
gonna
nothing
make a
else,
motion to adjourn unless you guys want to keep going.
that was the other thing I was gonna ask for is a motion to adjourn. So Jean made that
Okay, I'll
motion
make a
second.
motion to-
I'll second it.
Yeah, I'll second.
All in favor?
I.
Aye.
Aye. See you
Were you
guys.
opposed? I didn't hear you say aye.
He did.
Aye. Sorry.
Billy wants to stay.
No,
You're on your
I want to
own.
go.